Saucy Not Bossy.
Okay, welcome in everybody. We're going to laugh a lot today, let me just tell you. And we're just going to have a lot of fun because one of my best friends, Kayla Perlstein, is on today, Saucy Not Bossy. And she is the CEO, badass bitch of Golden Bird Marketing. And I love her podcast, Dose It Social, that teaches you everything you need to know about social media. And welcome, Kayla Perlstein.
Thank you. Super excited to be here.
Okay, so we have to talk today because I feel like we talk a lot all the time. And I feel like whether I'm at Target and I step outside because I don't want to be rude talking in Target so everybody can hear our conversation. So I step outside of Target or outside of grocery stores and you and I'll talk. There's always somebody commenting and listening to our conversation being like, yeah, like, I'm like, you're not part of this. But I'm like, maybe we should invite people to be part of this.
I mean, we have good conversations. So.
We have great conversations. I've had men, I've had women, I've had everybody just be like, girl. I was like, doing something right. Yeah, of all genders and kinds. So what I wanted to talk about today is dating and also being a successful entrepreneur and how that goes hand in hand. Okay, so Kayla, tell everybody about yourself a little bit.
So I was born in New Jersey, grew up in Alabama. I know that's a huge culture shift. I lived in LA for 9 years where I met Shanna, and now I'm here living in Nashville, Tennessee. I've had my business for about 7 or 8 years now. I've worked in social for over 10. And for those of you listening, Shanna knows most of my dating scenarios and history, all from LA up until now.
Unlike Kayla, I'm not an elephant brain because of so much going on, but Kayla remembers everything. So I was like, tell me these stories again. And it's been a long chapter of guys, boys, frogs. What are we calling them? Anything.
We'll call them
and in between.
Boys.
Okay. We'll call them boys. We're looking for the champ, but I feel like this will be a great conversation for, women that are successful, that are dating out there, women that are getting divorced, women that have never been married and are thinking, maybe it's the time, or women that are just starting to get online and going, what is this all about? So we're going to talk. We're going to be as positive as possible because I've been married 9 years and I have not been in the dating scene. I'm happily married because I listen to Kayla and I just go, whoa, what is out there? And I'm always trying to be positive. And Kayla's like, no, there's flags. So Kayla, we'll talk later. We'll talk about beige, right? The beige flags, the red. Okay. Now, Kayla, tell me all the sites there are out there because I know Okay, Cupid, I met my husband on, which is 9 years ago, a different world.
I don't even know if that one's still. I mean, really? I'll be real honest. I'm not on them anymore. You know this, but
she says this every other second. Okay, and she's
I've
like,
been
okay,
off
well,
of
I made
them
a profile.
For a while.
How long?
Couple months.
Okay.
The last time I was on there, another friend made my profile because I have just kind of given up. So.
Okay. People out there starting this, what do you think about a friend starting a profile for them with you there? Do you think that's a good idea? Do you think they should do it on their own first?
I mean, I think my friend had more fun with it than I did. And then she sat there for an hour swiping through people. And she was very going through the details. And she was like, he likes the outdoors. That's a no for you.
That is a no for you. If anyone knows Kayla, we watch too much murder. She's like, a hike. I don't know this person. Yeah, no. She's going to push me off the ledge. Yeah, but it's good. It's good. You got to be safe.
There's a lot of apps. I mean, the ones everyone knows, there's Tinder, Facebook Dating, Hinge, Bumble. Then there's Grinders if you're in the LGBTQ community, Coffee Meets Bagel, FarmersOnly.com, Christian Mingle, JDate. There's so many, eHarmony, Match.com. But it's interesting because half of these apps are free, but they have a paid option. And it's almost like they keep you behind this wall if you're not paying for it. And you're constantly getting served people that are not necessarily your type, or people liking you that make you question your own self-esteem sometimes, which I'm not saying that to be mean, but it honestly just makes me question myself. Is this what people think when I like their profile? It almost makes you just feel bad, and you're shopping for people. So if anyone saw that Drew Barrymore episode, I forgot the comedian that was on there, and she asked if she was dating, and she said they should put all of the apps together and call it What's Left. And
Oh my
that
gosh,
truly
yeah.
is like what it is right now.
Is that the big chick that I got in a fight with? Leslie, what's her
Yes.
name? Yeah. The
I
one
did not know you got in a fight with
I
her.
heckled her at a comedy store, and she should have thanked me. I helped her act, but yeah, ooh, big. She's a big girl. The big girl from Leslie, whatever. Anyway, back to you. Okay, so there's all of these apps out there, and then what's the one that you've liked the most so far?
Interesting, because like Bumble updates with your location. So half of the people out here that you see on Bumble don't even live here. They're visiting, but they'll tell you like, oh, I'm out here for work, but I'm thinking of moving out here in a couple months. It's like, no, you're not. You're just looking to hook up. Like, be
Okay.
honest.
Okay. Okay. Now, I was looking up some things about why it is so hard, right? Dating now. Okay? I'm doing my research here. Now, what do you think about this? They say that one of the reasons is there's choice overload.
Yeah.
And what that means is the number of profiles and options available on dating apps can lead to decision fatigue and feeling of being overwhelmed, making it harder to settle on someone.
I agree with that, but I think it's more of like, so I might meet a guy and he might think that I'm awesome, but
What you are?
he thinks, I know that I am, but you know,
That's number one. Yeah. Got to start with self-esteem on these sites. Yeah.
but
good.
people just think that they can do better. It's like, you're beautiful, you're great, you're, successful, you have your shit together, but I'm looking for, something better. And so they just go back to the apps and keep swiping and like hope that their perfect type will like them back.
The bigger, better deal kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Or they start getting self-esteem because like a hot girl like you is like, oh, they like me. What else is out there? Right? Like building
I feel like I
self-esteem.
probably made some people feel that way.
I bet you have many. They should be paying you to be on these sites. Okay. Okay. Now, then they say there's hyper competition. The competitive nature of dating apps can lead to focusing on superficial aspects of attraction, making it difficult to find genuine connections.
I mean, I would agree with that too. I think, especially with dating apps, it's kind of like social media. People don't read. So they might not read in my profile that I forgot what Emily had put on mine. It was date ideas. And she said a coffee date, a gym date, not your home. Because there's men out here now that they make these plans with you and then they cancel last minute. How about you come to my house and I'll cook dinner? No.
Ew.
So I think they just don't read and they go based off of looks. And then from what I've heard from the guy's perspective, there's a lot of filters on the girl's side of things. So they go with like the prettiest, skinniest looking person. And then I've heard some stories where they meet up and it's not who they think it is.
Yeah, I would say, I think you've done it too. I know people that will FaceTime the person before.
Well, I'll FaceTime them. I'll look up all their information. Like, I don't care.
You do.
I'll go FBI mode. If I can't find them, I'll reach out to your husband, Chris, because I know you can find
anybody. And if you guys need some help, Kayla's out there for you. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Okay, wait a second. So, okay, there was a thing called, there's the ghosting, right? That's, ghosting is, right, the disappearance. People ghost, right? Because
I've heard they ghost after like months of seeing each other, which I think is nuts.
That's nuts. But like, that brings me to my next point. What are they really doing? Why are they spending months? And then you go on, where do you go and find that they have a wife or a girlfriend probably, Kayla?
Well, yeah.
You go to Facebook, right?
You go to Facebook, you go to truepeoplesearch.com. That's my secret one.
Out there. That's a good one.
Yeah, because if you usually on dating apps, it won't tell you the last name. And if you don't ever connect on social, or they'll tell you, I don't have social media. Put their number into truepeoplesearch.com. It'll give you everything. It'll tell you their potential spouse. It gives you their last name so you can look them up on Facebook to see that they're married. I don't understand what it is that these men think that they're so much smarter, that there's now Facebook groups out there. Are we dating the same guy in Nashville? Are we dating the same guy in Atlanta? Like everywhere. And your secrets are being told.
It's not a secret. Yeah.
Maybe stop lying.
Yeah. And this goes with women too. Like, I feel like,
I'm just speaking from my perspective. But.
Yes. We're speaking about men today. Okay. And then ghosting, right? And then there's Caspering. It's similar for ending a relationship without proper conversation explanation. Have you been Caspered, like the ghost?
Probably.
Like, I don't get how this happens. You just start talking to a person, you're texting, you're talking, and then one day what? Like, is there been a point where you haven't even met the person yet, and then you talk for a long time, and then they're like, okay, and then you're like, let's meet up, and then they just don't meet up with you?
It's been that situation, but it might have been where we talk for a long time, and then, because I might have been guilty of it too, where we talk for a long time, there's been no talk of meeting up, or that's just kind of like a general let's meet up, because I've talked to people that also don't live where I live. They live in another state, and so it just kind of like falls off, which I don't know if that's necessarily Caspering, or it's just.
But who takes this step to just go, hey, because when I met my husband, it was literally like, I'm on the site for one day. I'm getting off because a girlfriend got me on. And then I was like, here's my number. Call me if you want to talk. Do we not do that anymore? Because it's kind of scary to give people your number, right?
Well, I'll get someone's number because I want to look up their information. So I don't care about that. But I have I've talked to people that have like quickly asked me out. I think there was actually a time when I was with you and I was talking to a cop on Hinge who lives, so it was a cop, and we met up for coffee, and
Oh no, that guy.
was very strange. He like was real honest about how coffee works with his body. And I was like, cool.
Yeah. You're also been good about, like, I believe that when a person tells you who they are in the beginning, listen, especially men. I feel like men will tell you the first hour or two exactly who they are if you just shut up and don't talk for a second. What do you think?
I will say that I think everyone needs to get themselves a friend like Shanna who will tell you exactly who the person is when you're relaying the information to them, and then not listening to your own intuition and staying at the party too long, as you like to tell me.
Lala does stay at the party too long because you've got such a good heart, you know what I mean? And then you believe in better of the person, and then they, yeah, some of these guys I've just wanted to beat up, but you know what? They're gone now. So bye. Okay, here we go. So we did choice overload, hyper competition, right? And then gamified dating. Have you heard this term before?
Think so, but I don't remember what it means.
Dating apps can reduce individuals to swipeable profiles, making it harder to build genuine connections and fostering a sense of dehumanization. So it's like a game of sorts.
Well, yeah, you're like shopping for people. I've had guy friends that have told me like they'll just swipe yes on everyone just to see who accepts.
That's rude. What is that about? Like just to, oh my God, I cannot. Surface level filtering. Initial judgments are often based on appearance and short bio, making it harder to establish deeper connections. But if you're not a deep person, what did my brother say? He's like, yeah, there's a lot of people out there online, but it doesn't mean the goods are good. Like, he's like, there might be more choices out there, but what are you choosing? You know,
And
people.
I would say I'm guilty of what you just said. Like, I don't think that I'm a superficial person, but if I'm not attracted to how you look, I don't think that's going to like develop over time. Do I need to be like in love with how you look? No, but there needs to be some type of like, oh, you know, this person's nice looking.
I think so. I think so too. Like, you still have to look at the person and be like, okay. And then you meet in person and see if you have chemistry. But yeah, you can't be like, no, your heart wants what it was, right? No, there's no judgment in that. I like that. I think you have to swipe. Okay. Can we please talk about the guy that you thought you had kind of a connection look feel to when you saw him? And then you did your deep dive?
The AI guy.
Bum, bum, bum. You guys, this is the next level. This is not even like catfish. This isn't even like a little filter. Please discuss, Lala. Please,
Okay.
guys.
So there was a guy that I was talking to. Well, I'll just be really transparent. I typically don't date bald guys. I like guys with hair. I decided, you know, my mom was giving me shit. I was like, whatever, you know, if they look like they might be my type without hair, let's try it. So I matched with this guy who happened to be bald. We were talking. His photos looked kind of questionable. There was one that definitely looked like, you know how people put their image in AI for their LinkedIn photo, and that's what it looked like. So I was like, I know that's AI. The rest of them were questionable. We were actually having really good conversation, and I feel like I'm going to sound like such an asshole.
No, be real. This guy's a liar.
We were having such good conversation. We exchanged phone numbers, and I did what I do. I went to truepeoplesearch.com. I looked up his number, found his name, went to LinkedIn, because also on his profile, it said where he worked. So I was able to tell who he was. The photo, every person I have shown his Hinge photo to compared to his LinkedIn photo, all had the same reaction. I've man,
shown 1,000 people in California as well, just so you know.
And I'm not hating on body type, like nothing. But this man looked like he literally ate another one of himself. And like,
it
did not
him.
look. No. So I'm thinking, what were you going to do if we met up in person and that's who walked in? Like, and it goes the same for women who use very heavy filters, or they shoot photos from like chest up all the time and you can't see anything else. Like, what do you have to hide? Be confident with yourself, or don't be on a dating app, because you're just going to get disappointed too. Like, I don't understand the point.
So what happened once you saw like what he really looked like out of Disney filters?
Really blocked him. So maybe I Caspered him. I don't know. I didn't want to say something because I didn't want to come across as body shaming, and that's not where I was coming from at all. But it's like, I also am looking for a certain type of person. I put a lot of effort into my body. I work out a lot. I eat pretty healthy, and I want someone that does the same. So if you're showing me one thing, but you're actually someone else, like that's not what I'm looking for.
It wasn't even his body. It was like his whole face
Oh, it was
literally,
everything.
it was everything. It was like all his bald head was so smooth and perfect. And it was just ridiculous. It was
And
completely
I
a different human.
And I feel like some people might be like, well, you said you had, good conversation. Like, why are you going to write someone off because of their body? But like, you're starting this off with a lie. And
Exactly.
that goes for both men and women, especially you were talking about different terms. Another one is hatfish.
Oh,
People that always have hats on in their photos because they're
oh,
balding or they have no hair, but you don't know it till you meet them in person. Like, just be yourself because, I mean,
yeah.
it just shows that you kind of have low self-esteem if that's the case to
Yeah.
me.
Be yourself though, Kayla, except don't be all of yourself with the selfies in the mirror. What do you think about those?
Oh, I don't do selfies in the mirror. I
What?
mean, especially public bathrooms. Like, what are you doing?
Public bathroom. What do you mean a public bathroom?
There's
Like,
selfies that looks like they're in an office bathroom, an airport bathroom. Like, and if you're taking a selfie in your own bathroom, clean your shit up because you can see everything.
great point. That is a great.
And the shirtless selfies, no,
No,
like, don't do
no,
that.
no, just do not do that. No, no, sir.
It just
No,
screams
ma'am.
douche.
Oh my God. Douche. Not the good kind. Okay. Surface level filtering. Initial judgments are based on appearance and a short bio, making it hard to decide. Did we talk about that? Deeper
Yeah,
connection?
I feel like everyone does that. I do it a little bit.
Right. But don't be a liar. Like put a
No.
little zhuzh, but not like, look, do I look like this? I'm wearing some lipstick and my hair's nice. No, I don't look like this every day, but put on your best self. Just don't be a liar. Right.
Oh, I look like this every day. No makeup,
You're
workout
beautiful.
clothes.
Yeah, you look beautiful.
Thank
You do.
you.
And then what do you think about this one? Especially as a business owner and a strong woman, changing gender roles, evolving expectations around masculinity, femininity, and dating norms can create confusion or conflict about who initiates, pays, or defines the relationship. What are your thoughts on that? That's a big
That's a
one.
good question. So I've seen some profiles out there where men will be very straight up, which I will say I appreciate, but not what I'm looking for, is they want a traditional woman that's going to be home and cook and clean and do all the things. And like they're the breadwinner. And that's great. That's not me. And that's not what I'm looking for. I think, being very clear about what you're looking for. I think at least with a first date, listen, I have gotten to the point where I will no longer do like dinner or drink dates. We can go out during the day, we can go get coffee. I'm good with paying for myself. I got into this mindset of paying for myself because I don't want to feel like I owe something. I don't always expect the man to pay. I've had girlfriends that like were flabbergasted at the fact that I would even reach for my wallet. And I know your brother and I have talked about that all the time. He's like, did you do the reach? Like, I'll always offer to pay for at least my half. Am I going to pay for you? No. If we're
pay for you,
on a first date, no. But like if we're dating, like every now and then I do, like if we go get coffee, like I'll get it. I don't expect you to pay for everything. But I'm also not your sugar mama and I'm not going to be paying for everything. So like have your shit together.
Yeah. Have you ever had a man ask for you to pay for him or expect you to pay for him?
I've had people expect us to split it, or they'll ask like, "Hey, are you like, let's split it?" I'm just like, "Okay." Like it's a first date, that's fine. Second, third, like come on.
No. Okay. Well, I'm the opposite. I feel as though the first date, you should do the reach for sure and just acknowledge that it's there or pay like the tip. But like, I think if the guy asks the woman for a date, I think he should pay. That's what I
Yeah.
think. And you don't have to go somewhere fancy. You could just like literally go anywhere and enjoy time together. Or coffee might be a better idea if you can't afford it because, life's expensive.
I think I've also just felt like if I didn't feel like there was a connection, I would rather pay for my own because, I mean, again, like I'm in these groups where I hear all these things and guys will pay for dinner and then the girl's just not in, he'll reach out again and the girl will say, I had a really great time, but I just don't think this is a great fit. And they just blow up. Like, how dare you have me pay for $100 tab, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm not out here to do that with you. If I'm not feeling it, I'll pay for myself. It was really nice to meet you. Usually, sometimes it'll turn into a business connection.
It does. You're good about that. Yeah.
But I mean, I don't always expect the man to pay. And that's just me.
Okay, so what you would say is it would be good to do like coffee or just a simple, quick 30-minute kind of thing, leaving each other wanting more if so, and then it just is like a $5, $10 tap with coffee. right?
Yeah, I feel like, and this is for me,
Yeah.
I feel like having dates that are dinner dates or something with drinks kind of just starts to cloud judgment. I know that like I loosen up and talk more when I'm drinking, and sometimes, your judgment can get clouded. And so I've just gotten to a point where I'd rather meet someone during the day. We can go do an activity. We can go get coffee. I'm not going for hikes and walks unless it's like a second or third date, but
She's not
like,
smart.
let's go to Pins, which is a duck pin bowling place. Like, let's do something and have fun and talk. I went on a date with a guy. It just didn't work out, but he was golfing. He asked if I wanted to go golfing, which I don't golf, but I love sitting in the cart and like, we were drinking during the day, but it was fun.
Wait,
It was a fun
18
activity.
rounds or 9?
Yeah. He did 9.
Okay.
And then I was like, if you want to keep going, like I was having a good time. So he did another, and I was driving the car. Like, it was a fun date.
Oh my God, that's like a golfer's dream date. Are you kidding me? All golfers out there.
I don't
She's
golf.
single.
I think golf's kind of boring, but like he made it fun and it was sunny. It was a nice day and we had a good time.
Nice. I like that. Okay. And then he offered, 9 rounds or 9 holes to just be
Yeah,
done.
he
And then
started.
you
He was at least like nice and started, and then like checked in with me and I was good with it. So communication is
What
key.
happened to that guy?
It just, we've talked about that one.
Okay, you have to remind me.
I've gotten into the situation, so I'll be very transparent with the listeners here. I'm 36 years old, single, never married. So I'm in the situation where I'll date 10 years older. And so most of those guys are divorced. And with that, they also have kids. And I don't know if he was really divorced long enough. There were some other things that just kind of seemed like he was looking for a hookup after that. And that's not what I'm looking for. So.
Okay, so then that would be kind of tell me the difference between the red flags, and there's red and beige.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody, we're all getting education out there, and if you know it, you know it.
There's
And if
green. I call them beige. I think some other people call them beige, and then red.
Okay, what's beige?
Beige is like when it's not fully a red flag, but it's a little questionable.
Okay.
So
Like the guy who hasn't been divorced long enough kind of thing that was a
when
beige.
they haven't been divorced long enough and you don't know the full story, it's a little like beige flaggy until it becomes a red flag.
The red flag is that their ex-wives are always nuts. It's always the ex-wife's fault, right? Like that's
and those are my questions. How long have you been divorced? And don't give me we've been separated, but we still live in the same house, or like what? No. How long have you been divorced? And what is your situation like with your ex-wife? Because I'm not putting up.
What's appropriate for you? Like if they were like, I've been divorced, how long?
Well, from talking with you and learning from personal experience, I would say 2 years.
2 years. Okay.
And they need to have dated before that, like before me.
Okay. Yeah. And then I know there was one where his wife passed and he was like dating right away.
Oh yeah, I didn't find out that it was 2 months after she had passed until we actually met in person.
I'm sorry, 2 months. I will haunt my husband from the grave if he starts dating 2 months after I die. Oh my gosh. Okay. Now, I wanted to tell you some stats here because we were born in the 80s, almost a little earlier than you, but I wanted to see what the difference is about dating in the 80s and then now in 2025 because the world has changed. Well, it's different, right? The marriage rate was relatively high, with approximately 70% of adults age 18 and older were married. In 2025, the marriage rate has declined about 60% since 1970. Well, in the 70s, women could get their own bank accounts and they're like, okay, I'm free.
See ya.
In 2022, by the way, we love men here. We're not hating on men. We're just saying society and these apps don't really build us up for.
No, this era of men needs to do a little better.
Well, what's so funny is I met Chris 9 years ago on a dating site, like randomly out of the blue, but and now I'm hearing these horror stories and just how people have changed. Like, and even in the last decade, it's just changed. Or maybe it hasn't. Maybe it was just like I went on, I didn't mean to find him, and then I found him. I don't know. And I know you and I talk about this all the time where people are like, well, if you don't go looking, but it's like we're business women, we're entrepreneurs, we're always going to be looking for, the next client, the next, thing to learn, a human to connect to. So, and we're not out tons, right? You're working all the time. So how are they supposed to come knock on your door? You have to go somewhere to find them.
And we do talk about that all the time because everyone, especially family members for holidays, want to ask, are you seeing anyone? What's your dating life like? Well, when you least expect it, they'll come around. And it's like, nobody likes to hear that,
Right.
at least like in this day and age. Like to your point, I work from home. I have clients that I'm running all over town to be with. I'm not out at the bar like prowling around, and I don't really go out that much in general. I go to the gym, I go to my CrossFit group, I'm home, I'll go see clients. So like the apps made sense for me until they didn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. And then you take breaks every 10 seconds. It's good. And then you go back. It's good. It's okay.
This is I'm finally listening to you and my tarot reader who has told me he's out there, he's going through his healing process. Focus on yourself and your business. So that is what I'm doing.
Okay, ladies and gents and everybody else out there, I would like to say what I love about what you do is you start going, what is out there? What is happening? Let me take a break. And then you get like a tarot reader or you get, outside sources and you start like working on yourself, the universe, your business. And then you go back into, either going out and meeting people or going online. I really love that. How's that worked for you though? Seriously.
Well, I feel like you've said this to me before and I've heard it from other people, but they say like you get what you put out. And so I don't know what type of energy I was putting out there before. Apparently it was not very good. So, I'm working on myself and I'm seeing all of these great things happening with my business. And I'm like sitting here, like patiently waiting for it to kind of happen and like find that right partner. But it is hard because you can't go out looking for it. And I'm not going out looking for it, but I do know what I want. And so it's just kind of frustrating. And it's lonely, especially as a business owner when you work from home. Even if you have a co-working space or an office, like you don't have that partner to bounce things off of. You don't have someone to lean on. I know you and I have talked about this when I was going through some personal stuff. Like, I didn't want to bother you because you have your own life and your own issues that you have to deal with. I don't need to bother you with mine. And so,
But I get, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. No, I get it, but I like it. Okay. So going back to 60% in 1970, in 2022, the rate was approximately 6 marriages per 1,000 people. That was a drop from 16 per 1,000 people in 1946.
Okay.
But it kind of makes sense. It's like back in like the 40s, 50s, 60s, women didn't work, right? There was a role, whether they're happy or not. They didn't usually get divorced because they couldn't even have their own bank accounts, right? They didn't have their own businesses. My grandmother didn't even drive a car. She got drunk all day. I would too if I had nothing going on with my life. I had to clean a house and just sit at home all day. I'd probably drink all day too. But in saying that, people would introduce each other and then people would get married. Like I remember before I met Chris, people were calling me like the old wash lady in Italy that just sits on the stoop. And they just thought, at 34 years old, I was just out to pasture. They were just like,
That's me now.
ooh, no, that's you. You're geriatric at this point, even though you don't want kids. But it's ridiculous, that concept, So yeah, I think it's ridiculous. But
Well, I think your stats are interesting because I feel like this day and age, a lot of women aren't necessarily looking to get married. Like, I think women want a partner, but I don't think marriage, it used to be that you graduate from school, you go to college, or you have your high school sweetheart or your college boyfriend, whatever it is. You graduate from college, you get married, you buy a house, you have kids. Like, that's the American dream. Now I feel like, women are having kids on their own. They don't need a man. They don't need to get married. And so I feel like marriage rates have dropped. I think even maybe with having kids, those rates have dropped too because women are just like, fuck it. I'm going to do it on my own.
Well, yeah. And I don't believe that people should get married just because they have kids. People are like, well, you have kids, so you should get married. I'm like, well, if you don't want to get married, don't get married just for the sake of the kids,
I also think you shouldn't. And again, I'm not married. I've never been married. So I'm just speaking from what I see, but I think you shouldn't stay married just because you have kids. Because there's men out here on these apps that are married and their wives are pregnant or they just had babies and they're like out here sleeping around with multiple women, telling lies. Like, why?
There's
Why
a
are you
special
doing
place in hell for a man that cheats on a woman when she's pregnant. I know. You saw me pregnant with the twins. Girl, I was the size of 12 houses trying to order pizza at midnight. Got all the Costco pizza. Costco will get you though. Remember, Kayla? I literally, because the woman was like, she saw how big I was. And like, she was
He
like,
was like, you need
why?
a pizza.
Well, she's like, why buy one slice for $2.50 when you can get a whole pie for $10? I was like, I'm going to my best friend's house. She'll eat it all with me. And I get there, you're like, oh, I'm not eating this pizza. And then I'm like walking it in Venice Beach, like back to my car, like waddling. No one would eat the pizza. I did.
I think Josh ate it.
I think Josh had a slice. Then I was like, no, I'm not giving it to Josh. I want it back. Her roommate at the time. Okay, 1980s. The median age at a first marriage was around 23 for women and 26 for men. And now the age has risen to 31 for women and 33 for men.
Yeah, that seems like it tracks. I feel like a lot of people that got married younger, a lot of them are getting divorced now or have
Right.
gotten divorced already.
Yeah, that's what I tell people out there. I'm like, there you go. And I feel like they got their first run and they're out there, Kayla. You know, you get your first run. So, you know, and I always say to you, you have no like baggage. You don't have kids to bring along with it, baby daddies. You don't have, you know, you have your work and you're successful and you don't quote unquote need a man, but you know, wanting a partner is a great thing. You know, anybody out there with wanting, I always say, let's be wanty, not needy. Right?
Yeah, that's
like
what you say. I am wanty, but not needy.
That's a compliment. That's kind of what I am. We're just alike. Okay. And then 1980, my last thought is approximately 6% of 40-year-olds had never been married. Only 6%. And that's according to Daily Citizen. Now in 2021, I haven't done the polls updated, I guess. It increased to 25% have never been married.
That's got to be way more now.
It's probably way more, right?
Yeah.
So 25, so maybe, yeah. But yeah, that was 2021. That was 4 years ago. But yeah, well, I think it's actually good. Okay, let me ask you another question. What do you think? Because I talk to a lot of guys and they're just like, just because I haven't been married doesn't mean that's a red flag. And they're 40 something years old. Is that a red flag to you? Is that a beige flag? Is that just it is what it is?
I think it depends on the person. Because listen, I could be somebody's red flag. I'm 36, never married, no kids. But it's not because I didn't want to. It's just that I haven't found the right person and I'm busy. I think there's a lot of men out there, which we might get into some of this, of like the types of jobs that I will not date. One of them being sales, because they like to drink, because they're always on, they're taking clients out, they're doing things. So I know of guys, and I've dated one of them that was in his 50s, never married, no kids. And I don't know if he's ever going to settle down. And he's a red flag to me because I don't think he like really knows what he wants with his life. So to me, meeting someone like that, I would think that's a red flag. If it's someone who just has a very busy job, but they have their shit together and they just haven't found the right person, I mean, that's like me. So is that a beige flag? I don't know. I could be a beige flag to people.
Beige flag, no. But you know what was interesting? I was listening to Damon Wayans. You know who he is? Comedian. And he was saying that he broke up his divorce because he was having fun, too much fun when he was young, right? And he was cheating and all of that. But what he did say is he said that people in high profile positions like a Jeff Bezos now, marrying this Laura Sanchez woman, it makes people trust people in business, especially men, more because they know that they have to compromise a lot because they are in a relationship. They know that they have to settle disagreements. They know that they have to work it out at home. So therefore, they're more in the realm of working it out in the office. I found that to be an interesting thing.
That is interesting.
And then, you know, probably a lot of these guys are just like, yeah, just like kids. A lot of these business, you know, women that are in business and men where I'm just like, you haven't even seen your kid, but they have kids for status of sorts to get to the right school. And so they can connect and God only knows what parents are at what school, you know, so they can further their business careers. Growing up in LA, I've seen that a lot.
And I think you made a point about if men haven't been married in their 40s, but they've had long-term relationships, you know, does that make them a red flag? No. I mean, we don't know why they didn't get married. Maybe it just didn't work out.
Yeah. But if you can commit to something, you know, even if a guy has a dog for 14 years, like that's a commitment right there, you know? I just think we have to stop with the stigmas and, you know, and then people feel bad to get on these sites too, because I know a lot of people that are going on their third marriages, but they started at 19 years old and they do live in the South or, not California or New York, where you may have start later because you're doing your business and your career, right? I always said I'd never go to Alabama, but I went to Alabama with you. And we went to your brother's wedding, which I love because you could have just found a random guy to take to your brother's wedding, or somebody could have started dating and then had a shitty time, but instead you took this hot mess. And it was during the time when my father was just being awful and abandoning my mother with her Alzheimer's. But I was a hot mess, but y'all accepted me then, so thank you. And
it was a trip you needed.
Yes, exactly. So sometimes being with hot mess friends is way better than just trying to find a guy. So let me ask you, because we could talk for hours on end about this, but okay. So someone's starting to get on an app. What would you say? What would you, just a positive version of it? So what would you say to the person about, getting out there, putting yourself out there? Would that be your first step? Let's say they're just getting divorced or they're like, you know what? I'm ready to get out there. What would you say as a single woman?
Don't do it.
No, this is supposed to be, okay, then would you say go have lunch at a restaurant by yourself? I see some of these places, high-end restaurants are maybe not hotels, right? Because guys are traveling or women are traveling, but go somewhere and eat. So I don't know. Everyone's in their phone now, which sucks. You can't just
I think if you're going to get on an app, my suggestions would be to use real photos. Do not put filters on them, and don't post photos all with hats on or cutting off your body. Show who you are. Be proud of who you are and be honest. Put your likes and your dislikes and, what you're looking for, what you're not looking for. I live in the Bible Belt and I'm not a religious person. I don't go to church. I'm not going to go to church for somebody and change myself because those aren't my beliefs and that's not true to who I am. So half of these people on the apps, it's what's your typical Sunday? And they're like, church, football, something else. And it's cool, we're not a good match.
Right.
So yeah. Read the profiles. If you're just looking for a hookup, be clear about that. There's options on there to say that you're not looking for something serious. I feel like a lot of people don't put that either because they feel like they get less matches. But let me tell you, there's girls that are looking for that too. Mm-hmm. So find what you're looking for. Don't waste people's time. Don't be fake. Don't lie. Be yourself.
Don't waste your time, right?
Definitely don't waste my time.
Your time or your own time. Yeah, don't waste Kayla's time. She'll find you. And then, okay, so then do you think that if you do wrote a profile, because there was a time in my life that because I waited a year and a half, I wasn't dating because I wasn't going to do it because I was just a little just annoyed by dating and all of that. But I remember writing on the profile before and I had a friend look at it where it was to the question oh, what do you like to do? I'm just ask me, figure it out. I was oh, that's a little angry where I'm I don't think anybody would want to click swipe on me. So do you advise once you get it out there to have a friend that you trust look at it first to see if you are in a good space to date? Maybe you think you are, but you're attracting the wrong people for a reason.
Maybe. So when Emily made my profile, for example, with religion, she put that I was, I think, atheist, which I'm not, but she was well, that's going to weed out half of the people that are super religious if they actually read your profile. So she was thinking different ways and she was putting certain things on there that I think, what did she do? Which I hate celebrities in photos on people's profiles, but she took a picture of me and Wes Bergman, who's from The Real World and The Challenge on MTV, because I was on his show. So
the show's coming out. Yeah, exactly.
So she put that photo in there, and then under my top TV shows, I think she put the challenge. She put something in relation to Wes, and then he was on there, which I was I don't really want to use that photo, but she picked all my photos. She did all the prompts. She still let me look at it, but I wasn't really allowed to change much.
And then how did that work out?
The apps are still trash right now, so it wasn't great. I think I maybe went on one or two dates from that situation. Didn't work out.
And then what's the thing where everybody wants a summer? Isn't there summer and winter where there's more people on the apps because they want summer fun, and then winter they get lonely? And
well, everyone has what was it? Seasonal depression.
Okay, yeah.
So I didn't know about that. I know with COVID, I think the apps were big because you couldn't really meet people out. but I don't know if they're on there more in the summer versus the winter.
Yeah.
I
that's
feel
why
like from what I've seen, it's like the same people that you just continue to see. And I was like, I can't continue to be that person. So I'm leaving.
How far will you put your dating miles on? Like how far?
Oh, I'll do the furthest.
Really? What's the
Yeah.
furthest? Japan? Like what is the
No, I
furthest?
think on Facebook dating, it was like 250 miles.
Okay.
So it was taking me into like Ohio, Indianapolis. I forgot where else. But I know you get mad at me for saying this. I don't believe my person is here in Nashville, and I don't have an issue with long distance relationships, but that might also be because I am a business owner and an entrepreneur, and my time is very valuable and I'm very busy with work. So long distance would work for me because, we get to be really mindful with our time and pick the time to see each other. But I'm also real big on communication. Like you said, I FaceTime. I talk with you on FaceTime on the phone almost every day. I mean, it's not an issue for me, but I think it is for most people because they're looking for a hookup.
Okay. It just sounds like so much work hooking up. Like I can't. I can't. Okay. So, all right. Give me some last advice, Lala, about anything else. Cause we could talk all day and this will be one of our many topics that we'll talk about.
This was
moving
actually
forward.
your advice that I took, but make a list of what you're looking for in a person.
This is a good one. This is actually a good one. I did one with my cousin and we literally like got candles out. I'm so not woo-woo. And I like got candles out. I hadn't dated for a year and a half. And I like literally wrote what I'm looking for, what the values are, what I want him to be like. And honestly, like I put it away, tucked it away. And then I met Chris and it was literally almost to the T of what I found, which was really interesting. But I think if you put it out there, but also like put it out there in a kind, loving way, something that's like, I would love him to, not like I expect him to, or I don't need him to, or, any of that. Just, yeah. We should get out that list. We'll do that. Next time you'll be on, you'll probably be dating somebody and then we'll have him on and then Lord, but yeah, get a list out there. I think that's good. And then remind yourself of why you are doing this to begin with, like why you want a partner.
Well, and that's what happened with the last person that I had gone out with. Was the first thing on my list says, if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. And where he was very nice and he was good looking and we had a lot of things in common, it wasn't a hell yes for me. I mean, we did go on one date, we had talked a lot, we FaceTimed a lot, but I didn't feel it and I didn't want to waste his time or mine. So it just kind of
you want to like jump the bones, like otherwise that's a friend, you know what I mean? You want to like look at that person and just like,
well, you always say, did you want to kiss him?
I'm sorry, I won't be sharing that song.
Do you think he's
sexy? Kiss, that's what it is. Yeah, because otherwise you've got tons of guy friends, like I love my guy. I don't want to make out with any of them, but when I look at my husband, I'm like, you know what I mean? Another great a tip that I just heard for all you married people out there that might be listening or any of that, or wanting to get divorced or just not happy and then thinking you want to get on the dating sites, stay married anyway, if you can. But a long story short is, I'm going to try it with my husband. They said, put on happy birthday hats when you're fighting. So when you like get in fights with your significant other, like they say fight naked, actually. I'm not doing that. So things are like swinging everywhere.
Yeah,
but like if you're getting in a fight.
Out.
Yeah. But with dating too, it's a good thing because, you get time to see what the person's like when they're not feeling good or when they're annoyed. And then you guys can work it out through that, start slow with that. But you have to not be a liar first. That's game rule number 1, right?
Yeah. And, unhealed people, be emotionally available. Like, don't be out there trying to say you're trying to look for a serious relationship when you're not. It's just.
Yeah. And I really love what you do. It's like if you're out there and you've been on the dating sites and they haven't been successful, like look inside of yourself too. Like maybe go to a healer, a shaman, like a therapist, or, maybe you're attracting the wrong kind of people, and then,
it has me thinking of that trend. Am I the problem?
Probably. Because you have to, anything you don't like within yourself, you're not going to change anybody else.
No.
Am I the problem? Is that the trend going? Am I the problem?
It was
Probably,
like an old trending audio.
Yeah. Probably. Okay, Lala. So love the advice. This will be first of many. Tell us what you're up to with your business, things that you are thriving at and where we find you.
Business is growing. We specialize in organic social media management with brand awareness and community building. So if you're a business looking for social media help, we would love to chat with you. You can find us at goldenbirdmarketing.com. My email's Kayla, Kayla, at goldenbirdmarketing.com. But yeah, catch us online.
Instagram too?
Instagram's Goldenbird Marketing Inc.
Okay. And then what about Dose of Social? Tell us about your podcast.
Yeah, so my mentor is my amazing business partner. We met in LA. I learned a lot from her and social media in general. And we started Dose of Social. So we talk with each other and then we interview other marketing experts. Our episodes are probably 20 to 30 minutes, easily digestible, but a lot of tips. One of my favorite episodes, I mean, they're all my favorites, but one of my favorites was the one we did with a e-commerce and social media lawyer. So he tells you all the do's and don'ts of what you can and can't do on social media. And I think it's pretty cool because not a lot of people realize there's certain things that you actually can't do and you can have a potential lawsuit. So
yeah,
definitely check that one out if you're a brand or business.
It's a good one. Yeah. Well, I love you and we'll see you before you're married, but I'm sure you'll be dating me. She'll be back on the app tomorrow, everybody. And then we'll get some live feed. We'll see about that.
We should do it and cast it so everyone can see.
I wish I could post half these guys that you have.
No, we can't
liars.
do that.
I know exactly. That's what you learned from the lawyer on social media. That's why you got to go to Dose of Social. Okay.
Thank you, Robert.
All right. Well, if you guys are interested in Kayla and I talking about anything else, let me know because this is just one of many conversations we have over and over again. And let us know what you've learned. Give us any tips you have. And yeah, everybody. Thank you, Lala. Saucy Not Bossy. I love you.
Thank you.
She'll be married in a month. Okay. Love you.